laugh, get comfortable, be you, relax and chill, sweatpants and coffee chat, freshly brewed, nice and hot, come sip, let's chat.
Hi guys!
Hey friends!
Welcome back to Sweatpants and Coffee Chat!
Get in here, get in here, get in!
I know, I'm so excited about today's episode. Thank you guys so much for actually clicking today because we have a great and very, very interesting and funny show for all of us to enjoy. Today's episode is going to be about hot topics in pop culture, and we are excited to have some friends come join us to have a great conversation, laugh, enjoy perspective, and we are excited to have them. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Who we got in the building? La, are you with us? Hello.
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? For y'all that don't know, obviously, my name is Salah Nemli, and I come from Queens. At this moment, I'm a lot of things right now. Because I started out as a dancer and choreographer, and now I'm about to open up my own school or reopen up my own school. I'm writing a TV show. I'm about to open up a coffee shop with my family, and I'm doing things with my boy Will for the community, for the men in our community. That's going to trickle down to our community as a whole. So I'm all over the place, but I'm here with my people.
I love it. And I know we got another friend in the building. Where you at, Rig? Are you with us? Let's see. I think we got our boy in the building. Where is he?
Drum roll, please. He has to make some sort of entrance. Come on.
Yo, what's the
story?
You got the so I married an axe murdered a coffee cup.
Yeah, you see it. What's going on? It's your boy Rigger, dancer, poet, DJ, overall artist, founding member of On Point Choreography, started by Salah right there.
Let's get it.
Everything hip hop, all elements are within me. I teach the elements, so we outside with that. All right, we'll keep it going.
So dope. We're so excited to have you with us. Because we love male perspective, right? A lot of female podcasts sometimes tend to stray away from just that male perspective, but I feel like we can be better and more well-rounded human beings if we do not welcome the perspective and the opinions of our male counterparts and our kings that, we're always saying, we want them to be there and edify us. But if we don't open our minds to what y'all are thinking, what you're feeling, and your perspective, how do we do that right? And I know we're all trying to figure it out. So this is our way of doing that right. We want to welcome you all into our world, and we want to hear from you. You know what I mean? We want to get it right together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like that is so funny that you don't see that a lot because not all of us are jerks and dirtbags. Like not everybody has the typical mindset of what they say a man would think. Is like not everybody's Derek Jackson, not everybody's Kevin Samuel. We got some, you know what I'm saying? We got some honest stuff to tell y'all. I ain't gonna give it to you like that.
I'm looking forward to it. And I think sometimes too, to your point, it's not always about men being dirtbags, but I think that sometimes, and I'll speak for myself, oftentimes when women's empowerment is on an all-time high, which is a beautiful thing, but sometimes we get into that stigma of like, I don't care, like it is what it is, like, and he gonna just have to deal with that, and sort of like taking on this perspective of like I am woman, to the point that the male perspective sometimes becomes obsolete, the perspective of the father, the perspective of the husband, and low key, we be on some like we run the show, and while that is necessary, I think there's a balance and a partnership for me that I think is necessary. Yes, exactly. And so this is just how we're trying to foster it. I don't think it's all about looking down on men, but how we value male perspective.
Exactly.
Right. At this point now, it's like he just wants to get out the way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So today's conversation is all about hot topics in pop culture, and I thought it would be a good idea to have our perspective on certain things that are happening in pop culture, and then get their perspective on some things that are happening in pop culture right now in this moment. So the first one of the first hot topics that we're going to talk about, it's not confirmed, but Tiffany Haddish replacing Ellen as the new daytime host. It's not confirmed, it hasn't been talked about, but I think that would be a really, really great idea for the culture and to see somebody else different on that screen. So what do you guys think?
I think it'd be a good idea for them to give her her own show and not her to take over for somebody else. Like when she did the Kids Say the Darndest Things, that's a show that's been running forever since Bill Cosby, and they put her in there, and she did a great job. But I think if she was to become a daytime talk show host, she'll do a good job at it. But don't just, this was Ellen, now she's gonna take over. It's gonna be called Ellen, but she's gonna be standing there. Nah.
I think it would be called Haddish, but it would be in the same time slot that Ellen was going to be on. So Ellen would be at 3 o'clock. Haddish would just replace it, and there would just be Haddish, or like.
But to your point,
but that's a good point.
She's standing in someone else's shadow, and you're like, nah, give her her own point.
Yeah, completely. I completely agree, because Tiffany Haddish has done so much for a lot of people. Like even on her Netflix special. Oh yeah, those are fire too. Yeah, like of her favorite comics. And some comics that help, hold her down. She gave them a platform because, she felt like they weren't really getting the shine that they deserve. She's done enough to, hold her own and not really take up for somebody else and replace somebody else. There's, give her her own spot. She deserves her own spot at this point.
Her own spot on a new network. Word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like that. All right, next on the list. So the next one is something that people might not know about, but it's pretty pop culture. J-Lo now has rekindled her flame with Ben Affleck after just canceling off her engagement to A-Rod. For those that don't know, J-Lo and Ben Affleck were engaged about 14 years ago, and they called off their engagement, and that was like 14 years ago. It has been said that they are rekindling their flames and could be seen back together. What do you guys think about that? Good idea, bad idea?
I gotta
Would you ever go back after like 14 years?
So this is my thing. Anytime you see things like that happening and someone they break off one relationship and then they're already in it, you were already in that relationship. Let's be very clear about that. That relation, they're not rekindling, they've been rekindling. And I just think, let's just be real, right? It doesn't happen like that, because oftentimes when you break off an engagement, that's supposed to be devastating and heart-wrenching. And if it's not, you have to wonder, like, what was really going on inside that person? You were already, sort of how they say, sometimes when relationships end, the relationship had already ended, but sometimes people stay in it for different reasons, whether it's children, whether it's stability. And for J-Lo, I think because she's so much in the public eye, who doesn't want to appear emotionally stable? And and for someone who has had multiple failed relationships, you naturally want to tread lightly. Unfortunately, she's not doing a great job, because I probably would have kept that one to myself. But
honestly, you're right. It definitely screams we was doing something months before the engagement was over.
Or
years, exactly. But it's just funny that this is happening. It always happens. And then she had that, what they say she said, men are useless until what point? Until they get how old or something like that. It's like, you talking all of this and you're not even right. And that's what I be talking about. Like, some of these people just be saying stuff and you're not even looking in the mirror or in your own closet at what you got going on. So if they shacked up while A-Rod was away on business or whatever the heck they was doing, and now they like, they rekindled. Man, knock it off. You already did it.
Knock it off.
You already did it. And as far as
knock it off.
Exactly. And now, but on the flip side, if it wasn't a scandal like that, right? I just watched Drew Barrymore and Tom Green on her show talk to each other for the first time in 15 years. And it was face to face, and they was just looking at each other like, oh my God, like I can't believe that we haven't spoken to each other. And it was real emotional for them because they was like, yo, we were actually good friends. We were cool and everything like that. We don't really know why we just didn't speak to each other after everything broke off. But just seeing you here, it just brings up so much. So it was really cool. So that could be a thing. So going back that far is not that bad. But if you got some wild baggage with it, then you got to relax. You got to like just keep moving forward. I think J-Lo should just be by herself, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. She don't really give herself enough time to like really heal from relationships. She's
right.
Like, she jumping like
no lag.
Back to back.
Right,
you wildin'. She like Shaq and Kobe with the back-to-back ring.
I can't. How you feeling about it? What's your thoughts?
What's my thought?
Yeah, absolutely.
My honest thought?
Indeed, please. This is an authentic space. Let's just maybe I didn't give you the disclaimer. This is an authentic space. I want to know how you feel about that.
My honest thought is a Spanish girl from the Bronx. What you expect?
Oh!
See that shit all the time.
Damn.
Now,
wait. I left. All I saw was
I walked away. I swear I didn't walk away.
On the 6th train.
Nah, I hit him with the lean.
Park tester behavior. You know what? Let me not.
Park tester behavior.
But it's like
that's the culture of Spanish women in
No, let's not.
Please. Not all Spanish women, but like he said the Bronx.
I think he specifically talking about the Bronx.
The Bronx.
Well, that's what I said. Spanish women in the Bronx. That's the behavior. So he's identifying that as like that's a culture in and of itself. Interesting.
I know nothing about that.
In La Bronx.
Why are you worried?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Ricardo about to get y'all.
Salah just gave us the Kermit the Frog. He was like.
Now, like that's not for all Spanish women because you got some Spanish girls. Like the moment you messed up, they about to stab you in your lip.
Ooh.
And then you know,
yo.
But
let's talk about that real quick. Alexis was the one in high school out of many of my female Hispanic friends. Let's say because they not from Spain.
Yeah, exactly right.
That was like, I was like, what's good with your cousins or whatever. She was like, listen, let me tell you something. She's like, she sat down and looked me real close, like, don't mess with no Spanish girl. Like,
I'm helping you. You're not built for this. You're not built for this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what
we have different breeds.
What I was thinking. Like, listen, what's going on with you, kid? Like,
right, like Francis said, it needs to be reflection and all of that.
It's like the basketball on the court. We just bouncing around right now. Like, what's happening? What's going on?
Yeah. So true.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, and like
14 years back.
And honestly, every time I've had a breakup, I went like at least 2 to 3 years without a partner, without being in a relationship. Unconsciously, that's just what I was doing because I wasn't looking. I was just like, you know what, it's over. Let me get back to the grind. Let me focus on my work. Let me focus on dancing, my career, and everything like that.
Yeah, focus.
Just what happened organically. I never was like, oh, I gotta find me a shorty and do all of this. Nah, I was never like that, and it's good to be like that because people don't really understand that when you're with somebody, especially for a long period of time, and this is gonna go out there, but especially if you're laying down with this person and y'all having sex and y'all spend all your time together, when you have sex and when you're in these intimate moments, y'all transferring spirits.
He's getting spiritual.
There are things that latch on to you and transfer to them. So you might want to take the time out to get rid of all of that. And I'm not talking voodoo or none of that. I'm talking like real
life,
real internal.
Right, and you have to detox from this person. Why you think every time you spend your time with somebody and you're with somebody for so long, they start saying things like, yo, you acting like such and such, or you starting to look like this person? That's because y'all transferred energy and spirits in those moments, and they are a part of you. So you have to get rid of all of that.
Yes.
Must realign your chakras.
Say that again.
But it's a fact though, like
realign your chakras.
Realign your chakras.
I used to just be on some, yo, fuck them, yo. I'm like, I'm tired of them. Like, to hell with everybody. You know what I'm saying? You did this, but then you gotta have a moment was like, yo, was I the problem? Like, what's going on?
Right.
That period of reflection.
Like, you know what? Let me just work on this real quick, because at this point for me, I don't trust anybody. So I can attest to that. I don't trust a lot of people. I give you my trust. I give you my heart. The moment you mess it up, all right.
I think we have to do a better job too at.
You gotta go over there.
We got to do a better job at what we consider trust, and you have to trust that a person is naturally going to do what's best for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Whatever their flight responses are, like if something is triggering to them, you have to trust that, and it's not that people are trying to be hurtful or harmful. But people are going to do similar to Tired All In. J-Lo obviously got some underrooted stuff. You know what I mean? And this is naturally what works for her, and so that's what she's doing. I don't think it serves her well or the people she's with, and on a deeper level, I'm not sure it's even going to serve her children well. But that's a whole nother subject for sure.
Just like DMX said on Drink Champs, he was like, you have to trust people. You have to trust people to be who they are in general. Yeah, they're going to be them regardless. And when they show you who they are, just be like, okay, don't expect it. Just trust them to be who they're going to be, and that's going to be that.
Yep, exactly.
I agree.
All right, so moving on to...
I gotta hold it like this.
Moving on to the next topic. I am all about the next pop culture topic. It is Will Smith's with the Dad Bod Challenge.
Oh my.
And I'm completely for it. I love the positivity that it shows. I know for a fact that someone else on our panel loves this.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
So how you feel about that, La?
How you feel about this Dad Bod Challenge?
I feel great about it.
We know how you feel. We already know how you feel.
Yo, La is with the Dad Bod Challenge. Tell us about this post though, right? You were really inspired. Tell us what motivated your post. Like, let us know how you really feeling, because you all the way, like, you jumped on it, like you was with it.
Yo, because honestly, I've been before the pandemic. Let me tell you a moment I was like, oh nah, this is crazy. I used to teach in the Bronx every Saturday, right? And out of nowhere, I was in the Bronx. I'm teaching, and I do my warm-ups. We do the warm-ups with the kids. And I'm doing the jumping jacks or whatever, and I just feel mad movement. I'm like, I stopped, like, wait a minute. Hold on. So I started doing the jumps again with them, like the house and everything like that. And like I was like, oh snap, I got titties. Like, this is crazy. Like, it was like bouncing. Like, I felt it, and it kind of hurt. I was like,
so like your whole upper body was just there was motion.
Yeah, just wilding. I'm like, oh nah, this is crazy. So since then, like, I didn't even realize, like, I've been struggling with this for a minute. And then I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, oh shoot, like, yo, I got like a spare tire going. Like, the top part is not really crazy, but it's like a definite spare tire. And then I remembered, yo, it's crazy. And then I remembered, like, prior to the wedding, like probably like a year before our wedding, I was like, I'm gonna get in shape. I wanted to gain. I was like 175. I wanted to get up to like 195, 200, right? So I was on this weight gain diet, eating 6 times a day, water with every meal, protein shake, and it was clean eating, everything grilled, vegetables, everything like that, fish. And I was in the gym like 3 times a week for like 2 hours. So I was like, oh, all right. It was starting to look good. Everything was like shaping up good. My abs was all right. You know what I'm saying? It was never defined. I'm like, okay, cool. But then we had to start getting prepared for the wedding. Like, really, really prepared. So I wasn't able to get to the gym like that. My body is like, bro, we hungry. Like,
we hungry.
Still, you know what I'm saying? So I was still eating that way and prepping for the wedding, but it was still me moving around. So I didn't take on the weight. After everything was over, it just kept going and kept going and kept going. Like, and thankfully I was still dancing. So it kind of like, you know what I mean? Plateaued out and didn't get out of control. But then it was the baby, and mind you, Bunny didn't have cravings or anything like that. She couldn't even keep anything down. So it wasn't even that. It was just like I wasn't doing anything but going to work, and my hours are like I gotta be to work at 4 a.m. And then you in the airport eating that crap food when you don't bring food from home, and then you just sleep. You're tired all the time. So it's just that mixed with I still want to eat the way I've been eating. I'm still hungry, but then all I do is eat and then go to sleep sometimes. So it just got way out of control, and I definitely was like, "Oh my God!" Like this.
So you saw Will Smith's post, and you decided, you know what? I'm gonna do this. It's gonna happen. I'm losing the spare tire. I just love it because I think it just speaks to like being being the positive portion of like, women aren't the only ones that struggle with their body and their self-image and stuff. And I thought it was really good that he put it out there, that dad bods exist too. And like we're not always in the best shape either. It might look like that when we do movies and stuff, but we push that. So
that's a definite fact. Bunny showed it to me. And she was like, "You want to do it?" I was like, "You know what? Yeah," because she was looking at some pictures. She was like, "Oh my God, like yo, you like." I was like, "Yeah." I tried to tell you, and you tried to make it seem like I was tripping. I was like, "Nah, I'm telling you." And then even then, like me and my boy was having a conversation about the whole dad bod situation. There's a whole like group of women that's like, "Oh no, we love the little Chuck." Nah, because then as soon as you get into an argument, you're gonna start calling me fat.
I've never done that. Like I've never been in an argument, and it's like now the first thing I'm gonna attack is your physical. Like
that's a fact because it speaks to a post I put up. Right? Can you sweating on top of me, fat boy? But like,
I can't imagine. Like you know what? And when you laugh, your stomach jiggles. Like I just can't imagine that's like if I'm fighting with you, like that's probably the last thing I'm about to comment on is the fact that your belly is jiggling when we laughing. Like come on,
right? Exactly.
Women have done that, but if men did that to us, we would flip the hell out.
But you know what I'm gonna say, and something that I realized. I want you to jump in on this. Is that your physical appearance, male or female, definitely affects your mood and how you interact with people. I feel like when you're more thoughtful and more conscious about your body, when you're feeling good and you're looking good, like that cliche, like look good, feel good, it's so real because when you're looking good aesthetically too, right? That means like what you're eating, consuming, you're probably drinking more water, you're probably way more active, those endorphins are going, and it's like, and you're more self-reflective because you're looking at yourself and there's something that you want to address. I think that we get real caught up sometimes in like, nah, I'm good. And we're always so busy trying to outdo ourselves in terms of our careers and our goals, and ambition just takes over. And then where's the self-care? Like self-care is not just manicures, pedicures, and facials. Like how are you taking care of your body? The inside.
You know what's so funny about self-care? As men, we weren't really taught certain levels of self-care like that growing up because they didn't have levels of self-care growing up, like going to see therapists, dealing with your emotions, because everybody knows me as the emotional one, or they would say that, yo man, that's Rick showing his cancer shit. You know what I'm saying?
That cancer stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But like, I was in tune with my emotions, and I never had no problem with it. As far as like the body goes, look, I've been called fat all my life ever since I was little. And it's funny because I used to like run around all the time, be fit, but I have chronic asthma, so the steroids and medication blew me up because it was really bad at one point in my life, and then I just got swole, and then everybody was calling me fat. My dad looked at me one time, he was like, "All right, now we gotta fix this." He never shamed me or put me down. He introduced me to fitness and martial arts at the age of 8. So ever since then, I've been training. Like as you grow, you tread a bit, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's still called me fat. So when I wanted baggy clothes in high school, it wasn't for the fat. It was because I thought I was still fat. I'm wearing waist 38
self-conscious. You were self-conscious about it.
Yeah, and so like at one point I looked at myself like, these motherfuckers so fat, man. Yo, get out of here. I'm good.
Right. So we was mad more high school. I don't know.
And I looked at myself like, yo, you You got a pack, boy. Okay.
No, I catch myself too. And we were dancers. So it's not like we weren't active. It's not like we weren't, studying, like, we were stretching and working out and dancing for hours at a time. So I've always been a sicko.
Depression.
Facts.
I went through a serious depression real quick. I let myself go a little bit. And it was like, how can I get this off? Because like working so hard to get that off and then putting it back for some people is very depressing. I go through it sometimes now because I work so hard to keep it off. And, as we get older, it gets a little tougher. So but now I've learned how to come to terms with certain things, like especially working where I work at. Some dudes can't run and keep up with these kids. I'm over here like, y'all coming? I'm still teaching dance, like what, like we're still dancing. My workout's just different because I be flinging weights everywhere now. Like,
and that's just a letdown too, especially when you're working with children or you have children. Like, who doesn't want to keep up? Like, we ain't nobody trying to feel like you got bad knees, you can't engage with your family, you can't move around like you used to, like that level of flexibility. But I definitely think that it definitely is reflective even on like self-care and how it impacts us holistically, and then how we then engage the world, right?
Exactly. So we're gonna find Salah's new post after he finishes his dad bod.
We're not
gonna see this no more.
It was the passion for me.
No more.
I can't wait to see you. We gotta go follow you, right? We gotta go follow him and watch his fitness journey.
I definitely want to see the
right.
Hold him accountable.
That's so crazy.
Look, that pic was so funny to me because every time we rehearse, at some point, Salah is taking off his shirt in rehearsal. Like the most amazing bodies, but he was slimmer than me.
Hilarious.
So
That's funny.
I sort of think I'm like,
real walking.
Oh, okay, you got a little size there.
I can't wait. I'm coming to check for you in 6 months. I want to see what you working with.
To check for you. All right, so let's get into the next topic. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So everyone knows the whole Portia situation that just happened. She's from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She has recently got engaged to her quote unquote friend's ex-husband. The divorce is not finalized yet or anything like that. But supposedly Portia indicates that was really not her friend, but that they just worked together for the Real Housewives of Atlanta and so forth. So would you ever date your friend's ex-husband or ex? And it's a little messy because now they're getting married themselves.
Honestly,
wait, time out. He said what? When they were just working?
Wait, he need a refresher. Hold up. Huh?
She pulled a little fizz. Okay.
A little.
And Amaria was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, working relationships.
Yes, that's exactly. Except the fact that Portia indicates that she was never really friends with this woman. She just basically they had to work together for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They were closer to each other.
Conversation.
That's crazy.
And now they're getting married. So.
To be honest, like in high school, going out with somebody ex didn't really do anything for me. Like if somebody wanted to date one of my exes or vice versa, I didn't like understand. I was just like, you don't care. Like, why do you even care? But as an adult and like when it comes to marriage, that's kind of weird. Like if you supposed to be my friend, or if I think you my friend and you're going around and you start dating my ex, like let's say within a year's time, nah, I can't be around you no more. That's kind of weird. Do your thing, because it's like I know why we're not together, and you will find out soon too. But it's just like
right. Good luck with that. Pretty much. Good luck with that.
Right. But I'm not gonna be around for it. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
So do you end your friendship? Like, do you end your friendship?
You gotta wonder if y'all was really friends.
That's true, but do you officially like now? No, like I think so.
I'm supposed to come over for crumpets and tea. No, that's not.
I would definitely end the friendship on nothing more than like, look, on what she was saying, as far as like I don't even know who was really my friend. But also, I'm not going to be inviting you to functions and then I still got to see this person that I don't mess with no more. Like, nah, that's weird.
Yeah, I think so. I think the friendship is over too.
Yeah, it's done.
Not even just weird. It's like, so how did you really feel about them when I was with them?
Ooh.
Right, especially if it's somebody I confided in.
If it takes, see, look, like This Is Us is different. Jack died. Miguel was supposed to keep her company, you know, make Rebecca happy. You know, like, I'm looking after you because you were my best friend's wife. 10 years later, they fall in love from being together so long, and he's battling with himself like, man, this is my best friend's wife. Would he want this? He's not here anymore. You're looking after because he passed away. That's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
We were together for a couple years, had some kids, went through some shit. You watched it. I vented to you about it. This raggedy bit, I did all of that with you. And now you're with her?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that you bring up a good point though too. Like when you talk about what's on TV, right? Because a lot of times these shows are supposed to sort of like shed light on like real world issues, right? Mm-hmm. So you brought up This Is Us, right? I think another example of that is on For Life, right? So old boy goes away. He's away for X amount of years. He's supposed to do life. There's no chance that he's supposed to even be coming home. The best friend is supposed to be looking after the wife. And that level of intimacy then turns into this relationship that they can no longer fight. I still think, and I've never been in that situation, so I say this lightly, but I still feel like it's just a line that you just don't cross. Like, I'm gonna need you to just maybe fight those emotions. Like, I still don't think, even still, you know, if that were me, you know what I mean, and under any circumstances, do I think it's now okay for me to now marry or get into a relationship with my deceased friend's ex-husband or deceased husband, or the dude is, I mean, because that's real life, right? Because like we'll probably likely see somebody be locked up for an extended period of time before the person just, you know, falls off the face of the earth and, you know, some sort of tragedy happens. I think like incarceration kind of is a lot more likely. But even then, I don't think I could do that. And I think that, you know, it just shows like these reality TV shows, I just think they're so scripted because it's like her and the girl probably really were not friends, but I don't think that it makes it any more okay. And I think that that's where you draw the line in terms of like, what level of privacy are you keeping with your own life? The same thing with the J-Lo thing. Like, yo, just take your, you know, like, keep that over here. Like, do a straight Bonnie and Clyde, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Like, why does everyone need to now know, unless it's intentional and there's a strategy behind it with these reality TV shows? It's like, all right, now here go a new storyline, and now, you know, Real Housewives, you know, Portia gets with the other housewives' husband. Now we got a whole storyline that just extended the show another 3 to 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta wonder, what's the intentionality behind that? How real is this stuff? I could not. I mean, I don't care how good the money is. I couldn't. And maybe to them it's just humor, and maybe I take things too seriously. But I'm like, I could not have people questioning my character. I just couldn't have it.
What's the price tag for your character?
What is the price tag for your character?
How much do they pay you for you to be like, I'm gonna change who I am for TV? Like, nah. But that leads me into my next hot topic, though, guys. So we just talked about being private and being able to, like, you know, because you put your business out on the street, like, you know, you're up for grabs. You're up for, you know, kind of contradiction and things like that. So the Derek Jackson cheating scandal, he is the, I guess you call it the internet sensation that, you know, he basically talks about relationships and things like that. And then all of a sudden he was caught cheating. So I'd love to get your perspective on, like, I think it's just bad business, one, because he messed up his entire career, I believe. You can no longer speak on relationships, nevertheless, not anymore.
It is not.
Ricardo has an opinion, I'm telling you right now.
Jackson has been full of shit since he was in that broke-ass car.
Wait, what?
He's been full of shit since he was in that broke-ass car. Sitting there, all right, I'm going to take it like this. Look, I can't stand this man, yo. Like, come on.
What is it about him that you can't stand? And this is prior to the scandal coming forth.
Prior to the scandal.
Like, all right, so
yeah, you got it, Rick.
First of all, one, he was bad mouthing every step, every move that men would do at sometimes. And I'm like, all right, are you trying to get just straight like overall woman's attention to just be like, yeah, well, ladies, he does this, he doesn't care. Not true. I'm saying, like, if a man does this, you might as well go ahead and pack your things, because if he's doing this, I promise you, and I'm telling you from experience, he's sleeping with another woman. No, he's not. He just probably can't stand you at this moment. Why are you doing that, bro? Like, what is your game?
And that's the thing, because it's like,
and then
we knew he was trash. Yeah, we knew he was trash for mad long, and for me, it was just like, okay, you sitting down, putting down black men, lifting yourself up to make it seem like you're this dude when we all know that you're not. You just he pretty much just like pandered to all the women that were sitting there talking about, oh, black men don't do this and black men don't do that. And that whole group that sits there trying to explain to a black man what it's like to be a black man in America and what you have to do and what you must do with no experience. Now, for him, he's speaking, oh, I know from experience, but that's your experience. We are all individuals, and that we've been saying for years and years, black people are not a monolith. So it's like, it's different layers to different situations. You don't know what this woman is doing to make this man do this, and vice versa. It's just really weird to like see somebody go that hard and be like, yeah, because and all the women just like, yeah, that's right, because it's not right. It really is not right. Yeah, he was wrong on a lot of points. He was wrong. It's just weird, and now that he caught, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I definitely think that like he definitely messed up his career, one, and two, I just don't feel like anybody's taking
it's not that he messed up his career. Sure. Your credibility is shot. Yeah. And I think that we undervalue reputation and credibility. Like, because now no one is trusting a word that comes out of your mouth. And from a female perspective, I mean, folks is watching on the sidelines like, yo, why is his wife looking like that? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why, there was all the comments about, how she was dressed and how she was put together.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
I mean, and while I'm not in agreement with them tearing her down, I do think there's a level of reflection. How she is showing up aesthetically when your husband is, one who is like an internet sensation, an influencer of the culture, and you deem it appropriate. Like, would you step out to a banquet in that way? So I just think it was also slightly a reflection, like, what's going on in that house that sis is even like looking like
exactly
what's going on?
She was just sitting there like, all right. She was over it. That's the whole look.
Who's really
over it. Say that again. Ricardo, what'd you say?
I was agreeing with her. It's just like, yo, who's really in charge? Who's in charge?
Yeah, like, it's wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely wild. She was just on some look. I'm over it. That was her face. I've seen that face from so many women I know, and it's just
my God.
All right, this just happened yesterday. Why you dragging me out of bed to talk about this right now? Whatever, I don't care.
Drag me out the bed. So I don't know whether or not her appearance being any better. Let's say she was dressed to the nines, had her hair freshly done. I
would have the same face.
But I guess you get something different from her body language and from her.
Yeah, because it's so funny, So from a female perspective to a male perspective, right? Yeah. Women were caught up on why she got on a bonnet or got on like face she was making, the she was like she didn't really want to be there or like she wasn't in support. So my question is, as women, right? And I mean, I have my opinion about what I would not have done in that situation. When is it appropriate? Because everybody's jumping down Derek Jackson's throat, but like as a woman, at what point and where do we hold her accountable? Because I did hear that too, like for taking a stand and not allowing this man to think that this sort of behavior or this public image that he's putting forth is okay or a reflection of her or her brand, because now she has her followers, and I mean she's pretty up there, and it looks like she has more of like religious, spiritual community. You got women looking right now, and then it's like, so it's like where is the stand, or what is the What's your thoughts around how she, as a woman, potentially should have or could have addressed that situation differently? Like, I'm okay with you making a public statement. I'm not sure that the move or the strategy should be that I'm sitting here holding your hands and acting as though I'm condoning, oh yeah, she knows all of the women. And she's like, no.
Right.
I'm never going to nod my head in agreement in that. I know about the women, but we're going to need to rehearse this speech a little differently.
You ever walk down the street and hold somebody's hand? Your hand get real sweaty real quick. So they were sitting there holding up hands for mad long. I know.
The whole thing
was like, bruh, this is crazy.
So staged.
Exactly. And honestly, not even as a woman, as an individual, period, she's not obligated to get on that screen. Because personally, if I went through something like that with Bunny and she was like this big public figure and she was just like, oh, let's get in front. No, I'm not getting in front of your camera. You get in front of your camera by yourself because you did this.
I was going to say, he could have made that statement. I was just thinking the same thing. He could have made that statement by himself and it wouldn't have been a problem. I think that he wanted to show some solidarity, like, some unity. And I'm just like, it made him look crazy.
Yeah, you stupid.
Thick neck ass.
He was just mimicking
this. Like, we're here. I want to show you. She was like, right.
You know what was interesting about that to me though, for someone who's supposed to be a relationship expert, and to your point about the car, Ricardo, and I'll let you talk about why that irritated you. She was never a part of any of his Instagram addresses ever before.
Not a one.
This scandal. So now you want her to be a part of that? Why?
I never heard him say my wife ever. He always said, because
to be honest with you, I only knew he had a wife and he was promoting his book, and I didn't even think I'd never seen her before.
Right, I didn't know he was married either. I just thought he was just doing talking nonsense in the car.
Talking nonsense in the car. That's funny,
and that's an indication too that some people, for somebody who is married in this family, man, that he tries to then portray himself as, why you ain't never at home?
Why you ain't home?
Why, like, if you think about folks who really about that family life, right? And we don't know what goes on people's house, but when you look at like Kadeem and DeVal, when you look at other folks like that, who are putting out their relationship and their lifestyle, at some point there's a level of like, I do have a family, I do have children,
this is my house, I'm home.
Right.
Anyway, we can talk about this all day because I know Derrick Jackson is one of those hot topics that we could just kind of analyze.
It fires me up.
I know, but let's see.
It fires me
up. The next one kind of goes into this one though. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have, they've been together for a while. They've kept it very, very private. And I definitely know, for me, if I was Rihanna, I would have definitely kept it private as well and kind of just enjoyed it or whatever. But he basically has announced his love for her on the gram. And indicated that she was the love of his life. How do we feel about how private she's been since the Chris Brown situation and everything that happens? And would you kind of, agree that it's the smartest thing she did? Because a lot of people think that's the smartest thing she ever did.
That's exactly why I feel like she's more private this time, because of how public they were last time, and how there was two sides to the story, and how shit just got crazy. It's like, my lady is very private, like I may post her here and there, you may see her in some videos, but I know she doesn't like that, so I wouldn't, do it to, disrespect her feelings or anything, because she likes to keep everything close to home and work between us. Like, nobody would ever know if we go into anything unless I would tell him, or unless he would start to sense it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to be at home. I mean, he want to, attest his love for her and everything, she is the moon of his life and stuff like that. Like, yeah, go ahead, do it. But everybody don't need to know your business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's keep it close to home. And plus, she's Bayesian. Bayesians are crazy, man. Don't mess with her like that.
Yeah. Salah, what about you? What do you think?
I think them keeping it private was a good idea. Him coming out and talking about it, I don't know, because it was like, if they had that discussion, he's like, yo, I'm gonna just tell everybody cool, and they was like, all right. But if he just did it on a whim, it might have been an issue after that post went up.
Yeah,
right. That to me is just like, and I think I might be jumping ahead, but I'm gonna agree with you, Ricardo. I think it's because of the Chris Brown situation, and I think that when you go through a certain level of like trauma in a relationship, and your relationship is so public to the point that you're forced to take an L in public, you kind of never want to do that again. You know, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm good if nobody else in the world, because when it goes down, or when people develop an opinion about your relationship, it is a very hard weight to bear, and you spend more time healing from public opinion than you do from what really was going on in that relationship. But I do agree with you, La, that it's like, I hope he didn't do it off a whim, because I have two thoughts about that. It's like, was he trying to like heal something in her that, you know, where like now she's fearful of kind of like fully devoting herself to relationships again, and he wanted to like, you know, make it profess his love. But to your point, just like the whole situation with the August dude and Jada Pinkett Smith, it's like when folks violate, and that's not the agreement, and we're saying we're gonna keep, you know, what we do, what we have going on is us thing, and then somebody decides, oh well, now I want to be public. You cannot come back from that. Like once you put it out there, and once you invite the world into your life, I don't care if it's posting a picture of your child. It's like once you invite the world into that, there's almost like this expectation, and it's so funny because we're going to talk about that even in our next episode around social media anxiety. Once you start putting things out in this very public way, it creates a lifestyle where it's like you're not even on vacation anymore with this person. It's like, oh, let's get this content. You know,
and like, well, not for nothing, I didn't even know she wasn't with the other dude anymore.
But I think that's the point. Like, I think that was her point. Yeah. It's like, let me be in relationship with this person. Let me love on this person. Let me figure this person out. You know, because like, let's be real. Like, you could be with somebody for 4 or 5 years and you're still trying to learn. I mean, I know you're married and you guys were together for several years prior to your marriage. You're still learning this person. And then, you know what I mean? And then when you then have your own careers and all this other stuff. So it's like,
it's so true.
I just think that her decision to keep it on the low. I'm Team Rihanna. Team Rihanna. Like I'm like I would do that. Like I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I feel like also like from him, you know, like ASAP is a flashy person. You know, so I wouldn't, you know, like not doubt that he'd be like, nah, man, I want to show my love, man. The world got to see this, because he'd be like, yo, y'all got to see these new threads sometimes and stuff like that. So he probably probably could have done it on the whim, you know.
Right. On some, why you do that? I'm from Harlem.
Yeah. I'm from Harlem.
That's it.
Well, I just wanted to know, I have one question for you for our last hot topic. It's one question. It's a yes or no, and I want to know this. So the last hot topic is this whole Kylie and Travis Scott situation. They're back, they're supposedly back together after having 2 years separated with each other. They are now back together, and the rumor has it that they are in an open relationship, and that's how they're making this work. She then later on put a statement out that indicated that they're not in an open relationship, and that is false information. So my question for each of you is, would you ever be in an open relationship in order to make it work? Salah, you can go first.
I don't know.
Salah can go first. Salah makes me feel like what?
Honestly, when I was in high school, I thought about that, and I probably would have been with it. But now it's just like, if I gotta like be in an open relationship just to be with you, then no. Like, and it's not even for like selfish reasons. Well, it is for selfish reasons, because it's like, I don't know. Again, going back to the spirituality thing, I don't know what you're bringing into this house when you leave and come back. Yeah. I don't know on a spiritual level, and then on a physical level, I don't know what you're bringing back into this house. And just know, like, nah, because then it's like,
it's a hard no for him.
It's a hard no. Okay,
yeah, hard no. And honestly, like, think about this, and I was talking about this at work the other day, and this is the reason why dudes get so bent out of shape when they find out that their girl is cheating or whatever. It's not the fact that you can't handle it or whatever. It's the fact that you know dudes, and you know dudes do goofy shit all the time. Like, so you imagining this dude doing a whole bunch of goofy naked shit with your girl, Like, look at me. That's what plays in your mind. You know, dudes is wild.
Oh my God.
I'm absolutely
I'm floored by that one.
But so let's think about the fact, take it from this angle, right? Because polyamorous relationships is culturally, it is becoming normalized.
Yeah.
It's a topic of conversation. And so when it's not even that the person is seeing it as cheating, but this is just what we've agreed to because this is what, works for us. And I think that, there's different folks have different opinions about that. I happen to know, a couple who is open to that because they just feel like, different relationships with people, period, not sexual relationships, but that there are so many sides of what fulfills you holistically as a person that inviting other people, I guess, into your world is acceptable for them, right? So not just on the sexual level, but in terms of like the intimacy of relationship with another person. I mean, I think in this situation, obviously, it's probably likely sexual.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not, right? Like people go into these relationships. People
Like
go
that?
into this for different reasons. But I just want to acknowledge that like that is a cultural norm now that for some folks that works for them, right? I'm not saying for me that works for me, but I just want to acknowledge that it's a thing.
Look at his face. Ricardo, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
If you had a problem committing, just say that.
But what happens when it's not about commitment? Because someone who decides to be polyamorous is not about commitment.
What is it really about? You can't, just like Salah said, I come from a very spiritual background, right? You cannot amass all this energy that way and allow everybody into your space because you don't know what people's real intentions are, because then it starts to become contaminated and then you bring that back home and then that spreads that way also. Now, if I'm in a polygamous relationship, then that's me and these two people that we have going on and that we are sharing. I'm not trying to be over here like, yes, all right, building relationships with this person and that person can help me build as me and to fuel my inner and outer thing. Okay, you can have friends. We can
know what it kind of sound like though? It sound like you, the way you just broke it down, it sound like it's all stems from a low-key God complex. So it's like I am the center of this thing, and I got all these different relationships around me to make me whole and to make me okay with the things going on in my life. But honestly, you can just do that same thing on a non-sexual way. To Lydia's point, you can do that same thing being in a committed relationship. Right. You just have to have an understanding with your partner that you are not the only person that I receive like companionship from, because you have friends that I have friends that I could talk to about certain things. I have friends that I can't talk to about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's just how life. That's how life is, period. Even when you're a single person and you have a whole bunch of friends. That's why I found it weird when people get territorial about their friends. Like, oh, why are you hanging out with this person? I thought I was your best friend. What are you even talking about right now? It's the same thing. Because I can't, you cannot depend on one person to be your everything, your best friend, your lover, your therapist, your this, your that, because it's selfish. Because eventually that person, you are pouring so much into this person that they're going to overflow, and they're not going to have anything to pour out for themselves or anything left for themselves to build themselves back up, because you're not doing it. You just take it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good perspective. That's good stuff. I like that. Guys, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate you guys so much. I had so much fun. I laughed. It was good. I enjoyed it so much. I hope you guys enjoyed.
That's a fact. We definitely enjoyed it. This was mad fun. Hopefully I could be on the next one or one after that. I just so happen to be off from work. So
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys taking the time today. I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys so much. And for those that are watching, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I'll make sure I have my mug next time. I have a mug. I'll make sure I have it next time.
Yeah.
You saw my story, right? Yes, when it's coming, don't forget, we need to be prepared.
And we won't. Don't worry. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Bye.
See you next time.